I need healing. Top kick. That was the joke. You can go home now. Accelerating. This is another episode of Rothingham.
Dispenser here.
That was a joke.
Apparently it is.
That must be related to this watching the overs men's that you guys are all so fascinated with.
I'm not even sure why it's so prevalent and so XDD funny, but it's all over
That
the
spy
internet.
is a spy.
Well, you're drawing it right now, Artrix. You're contributing to it.
Yes, I regret nothing. Anyway, so
You are part of the problem.
we are.
I'm dabbing right now. I'm dabbing so hard. And later I'm going to plank.
Dude, I am cramping.
I'm cringing so hard right now.
Have you tried doing the Harlem Shake?
No, I'm doing the crab walk in my hammer pants.
I feel like it's 2016 again.
I am singing Chocolate Rain as I smash my
I
keyboard.
never really got into the Harlem Shake, even though it was, begun by Frank himself. I did like Gandalf style, though.
I'm pouring a bucket of ice cold water all over me to
Is it full of ice?
to somehow help fight super AIDS or something.
Ice cold water full of ice.
No, that's the joke. It's ice cold water, but there's no actual ice in it.
Oh,
So it's actually not ice cold water, because if it were ice cold water, it would just be a big brick of ice and would likely kill me. So. Good thing I actually didn't opt to do it.
So, do you think it originally was this and they used it on the cancer patients?
Yeah. They were like, yeah, help us fight cancer, and we'll do it by actually killing these cancer patients with solid blocks of ice, and that will somehow raise money to fight cancer.
It will definitely reduce the amount of cancer in the world.
Yeah, if you kill everybody who has cancer, then the cancer rate will reduce by 100%.
Until someone develops cancer.
Then you kill them.
Yeah, it's a simple solution.
Are you advocating for full-blown eugenics now? Are you?
No, he's just advocating
Cancer
for
is
full-blown
not a
genocide.
genetic disorder.
Oh, you. Insert
It's what-
ou.jpg.
It's what you get for eating too much radon and living under power lines while you have microwave ovens strapped to your phone neck
And
That's exactly what I'm
nothing
doing.
else.
because of chemtrails and gay frogs.
Yep, I was gonna make that joke. It's chemtrails that will make the frogs gay. Or
That's
Genji.
why
They're
we
both
all need to
equally
go to the humble water filter salesman and purchase
And don't
some water
forget
filters.
chlorine. Do not forget chlorine in the water.
You know, the whole gay frogs thing is actually a reference to a weapon they did actually try to produce in World War II.
Oh, I heard about it.
They thought they could just drop mega aphrodisiac bombs on people and they would be too horny to fight and they would probably just end up fucking each other. It never
did-
went.
Apparently, they tried to revive it during the Bush years to use against Taliban.
That would be fucking hilarious.
It would
I-
be, but
I don't think they had
don't,
goats in those tunnels, though.
I don't think such a weapon is really practical because I don't. Well, people still have willpower regardless of how much. I don't know. There's a lot of drugs out there that could really fuck you up. Actually, just don't,
Like
just
glue.
don't carpet bomb your enemies with PCP. That will not end well for you, or for anyone.
Oh, yeah. Although you may cause a small-scale zombie apocalypse.
You literally would. You
Yeah.
would if you bombed an enemy army with PCP, they would indiscriminately run out and kill everyone because PCP is fucked up.
See, Panboy, your enemies wouldn't feel pain, but at least they wouldn't be focused enough to attack exclusively you.
No, they'd just be running off in every direction, beating up buses, Oh, that's how anti-powerful.
I will explain that particular hostility to trash.
So that explains everything.
Indeed.
They were just a failed military experiment. I think I can can string the pieces together now. So once upon a time, there were a bunch of these activists that want to free the pigs from the laboratory or rats because they felt sorry for them because they want them to fight for the cause. You know, free the pigs, but you know, unbeknownst to them, they were infected with the virus. So instead, they became anti-fi fighters that just want to kick trash cans.
But you know, I was trying to segue on from dead memes to the biggest dead meme that's ever dropped.
Then tell me, what is this dead meme?
Sony.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Sony isn't a meme. It's a company, City.
They're becoming a meme with all the movies they're producing lately.
The movies they are not producing to produce these movies.
Yeah, because Popeye is the meme. It's a cherished franchise, that cultural icon. It has transcended memedom.
But did it transgendered?
We're not talking about Popeye, Artrix. We're talking
We are
about...
talking about the movie that was the reason why the Popeye movie was not made.
Exactly. Thank you very much. It was Concord. But yeah, so Sony decided to delete this movie to bring us the Emoji Movie.
Oh, the most fantastic piece of Western artwork ever made.
Then again, there's one good thing about the Popeye movie not being made.
What is that?
Is that Genji Tartakovsky got free time and made Samurai Jack season 5.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
Although some people on 4chan wish he didn't.
including
Well,
Xaverius. Xaverius really
no,
doesn't
no,
like the
no,
ending
no,
too.
no,
no.
Artrix.
Am I putting words in your mouth?
In the end, Ash never existed. That's a fitting ending. It's okay.
It's okay.
It ended well.
So is Ashi your not your waifu, but your hateful whatever?
Look, that ending made no sense. If Ashy ceased to exist, then the entire process that went to Samurai Jack going back in time to kill a coup wouldn't have happened.
Time paradox.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Look! It's actually very simple. I'll solve this problem instantly. Time travel is just a plot device that will never work. It will always lead to tomfuckery. Except for Rick and Morty, they can get away with it.
That's not true. It doesn't have to, because you can just say...
It was magic. I didn't need to explain shit.
Well, Rick and Morty don't travel in time, really. Just have a
The
dimension.
problem I had with that ending was it was self-contradictory. If one element of the altered timeline should disappear, then all of the elements of the altered timeline should disappear.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
This is why I don't like such stories that take you back to the point of origin, because then everything that the protagonist made, every single choice, didn't even matter because it never happened.
But anyway,
The whole character development was for nothing.
Let's stop talking about a bad ending, because we have an entire bad movie.
Yes. Yeah, bad beginning, bad middle, bad everything.
Well, I assume that none of you went to see it.
Of course not. I wouldn't give that money.
It's so bad, Artrix, that I know it's bad, but by just being in a proximity of cinemas.
They had Patrick Stewart voice a lump of poo, and they had one of their crazy actors come out and declare that this movie was going to defeat Trump and it was a feminist masterpiece.
Oh, so now it's a feminist masterpiece.
I can probably agree with that second part.
Because in this day and age, everything has to be Ghostbusters.
That was
Especially
pretty much...
Doctor Who.
Oh my god, yes, that too. Doctor Who happened, and now this.
I mean, I was not much against the Doctor Who being a doctress, except then I found out that BBC is kind of being overtaken by idiots, and I'm like, oh, so it has nothing in common with her being a good actor.
Have you been watching the last few seasons of Doctor Who?
I never watched Doctor Who.
Well, Panboy, I did like Capaldi. He's a very good actor. The writing was shit in half of the episode of his. That I agree.
Every other episode, they had the Doctor reinforcing that, yes, women can be in charge. Suck it, dude. I mean, it was a common thread. I was like, I've nothing against women being in positions of power and stuff, but if you're making it a plot point to shove down someone's neck every 15 seconds in every episode of your show, you might want to revise your writing style. I mean, we get it. You like ladies. You don't need to remind us every 15 seconds.
Well, now they are going to remind us the entire show because there's going to be the woman doctor on the screen all the time.
I have no problem with that. But I remember the episode where they were on Mars. Damn it, we're talking about Doctor Who instead of the thing we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, let's go back to the thing.
At least you can see how bad the thing is.
That you need to refer to Doctor Who.
The conversation itself doesn't want to be about it.
Yeah, even the conversation is like, fuck this shit, fuck this movie, I don't care. And it's a metaphorical entity, it doesn't even exist.
And it doesn't want to exist.
Yes.
Okay, I've actually apparently heard what the plot line about it was recently because of all the press it's getting at the moment.
Doesn't the trailer more or less just reveal
I haven't
it?
watched the trailer.
There's a plot line.
Apparently, it's a movie about the ordinary emoji face being upset because he has a wide range of emotions because he's been drawn with so many different variants. And this makes him feel like the outsider, like he's different, and he wants to be the same like all the other emojis that only can express one thing.
But
Gee, where have I heard it?
That doesn't make sense. If he has all the emotions, then he's practically their Jesus.
Yeah, but apparently because of it, he's an outcast.
That just seemed like the oddest plot thing I'd ever heard, honestly. I was like, wait, that's the plot of it? What?
Yeah, the thing about the Emoji Movie is that we've seen this movie already. There's like one video on YouTube that basically compiles all the movies that it's taken elements from. It's like Inside Out and Wreck-It Ralph and a bunch of others all wrapped into one movie. It's taken all the core elements of those movies and just incorporated into its own.
Well, yeah,
I kinda understand why they did it, seeing how all those movies were successful. But
it's a common enough basic plot. It's like you coming to terms with yourself and who you are and where you fit in the world. It's just, why do that with poop emojis? What does that add?
It kind of sounds like that movie about ants, the old one.
You mean Ants?
Oh yeah, that one.
Or was it
I like that movie. It was a fun movie. It wasn't
at the very least it was better than A Bug's Life.
Here's the thing. You'll be able to tell if the Emoji Movie was well received if, like with A Bug's Life and Ants, there's a clone movie that comes out from a different production studio 6 months later.
Not 6 months later, like immediately.
The problem is that the Emoji Movie is already a clone movie.
Of what?
Every other movie.
Yes.
Of Sausage
Wreck-It
Party.
Ralph and Inside Out.
And Cars, probably.
And
That's
Schindler's List, probably.
No, that's like saying every movie that uses the
trope.
The hero's journey is the clone of every other movie that uses the hero's journey. It's like,
boils down to everything being a clone of the first Persian epic.
yeah,
No,
this
but with
is
the Emoji,
basically just the teen coming of age movie. That's it.
With poop.
With
Lots of poop.
with emoji poop.
it was also compared.
Clearly, I mean, judging by all the poop, clearly this is directed towards American audience.
Well, the Japanese also like poop.
For some
Like a
reason.
lot.
But for different reasons.
I mean, I was recently watching a lot of anime from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they all loved their poop jokes.
Well, I mean, 70s had a lot of drugs in them, 80s had a lot of drugs in them, and 90s had kind of drugs in them. So
You really shouldn't obsess about poop. That's how you get chlamydia and cholera. And
Don't you get chlamydia from fucking without a condom?
Yes, especially if you do it in the poo hole.
Especially.
Interesting.
No, but this movie, yeah, of course it's got, you know, your basic hero story arc. I think basically any movie follows this pattern in one way or another. But for instance, one very telling thing that this is nothing but derivative drivel is, for instance, it's got the same motive as Inside Out and Wreck-It Ralph, in that, oh my god, this is what's going on in your phone. Oh my god, this is going on in your mind. Oh my god, this is what's going on in your video game. Speaking of which, they're making a sequel to Wreck-It Ralph, and guess what? It's gonna be on
for a
the
moment, I was
internet.
afraid they are making sequel to Pixels.
What? Are they?
Thank goodness.
No, I just said I was afraid for a moment when Artrix was talking about the video game. Like, because I don't think I could handle a sequel to Pixels.
Speaking of sequels that shouldn't exist, apparently DreamWorks has cancelled all of their planned movies, and instead they
Including
now
Shrek 17.
the only thing now that they have planned are sequels to The Boss Baby.
What?
Just
What?
nothing but sequels to the Boss Baby. Nothing else. Just nothing but Boss Baby.
They actually exist.
Yeah,
Did that
despite the
movie
fact
do that
that
well?
Boss Baby only had mediocre reviews, well, nowhere near as bad as the Emoji Movie, but not really good, it made huge money at the box office. And so DreamWorks decided, you know what, screw all these movies that might be good but won't make money. Let's just make more of the same that is making money.
I think this is the most bizarre notion. To come
Were
out
they
of movie
bought by
studios
Ubisoft or
recently.
something?
Like some of the biggest earners in the last 10 years have been unique IPs. And then obviously they milk the sequels, but like Wally.
The first one was good.
Yeah, Wally made Mad Cash. So did Wreck-It Ralph. So did Shrek. Shrek's almost 20 years old now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's
Yeah.
Shrek 2 and Shrek 4 and Shrek 67.
But like these movies, all original IPs, even Boss Baby, an original IP, made bank. So what? And the sequels always make progressively less. So where is this notion that original content does not sell come
Well,
from?
because
It's a risk.
It's
If
because
if you have a new IP and new content, then you have no previous tables
Yeah.
and documents that tell you that this makes money.
But
the
if
following-
it's good, they will come.
But how do you know it's good if you don't have a paper that says it made money?
Well, you compare it to the Emoji Movie, and as long as it's not that, it'll be fine.
basically the shit that happened.
Eh.
Basically, what happened is the Croods did not make money, Captain Underpants did not make money, and some other recent original properties they released did not make money. And then suddenly the Boss Baby came and it made money. Plus, the sequels to Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon did make money, so they put 2 and 2 together, and now we have a shit ton of Boss Baby sequels coming our way.
I can't imagine they'll just make Boss Baby sequels.
Well, at the moment, it's the only thing they are seemingly planning.
No. I haven't even seen that movie. I have no interest in it.
I didn't even know it was a movie. I thought it was just a joke on the internet.
I wouldn't even pirate it.
Just okay at best.
I wouldn't even pirate you.
No, really, I wouldn't. I totally pirated a movie the other day. I'm not going to tell you which one because then the FBI will be at my door. But it was in a friendly neighborhood.
I pirated Constantine like 10 years ago. That's the last one.
I somehow don't believe you.
But
Well,
yeah,
I also pirated the film with Nicolas Cage and all the nature catastrophes, but I'm not, I don't like to talk about that.
So who's going to go see the Emoji Movie right now?
I'm not. Fuck that
Not
shit.
me.
Neither am I.
I don't even go to cinemas.
So they won't even be getting my money from me. I haven't been in the cinema for well over half a year now. There simply hasn't been anything in cinemas that even
Wow,
remotely.
over 6 months.
Oh, you didn't
I
go see
know.
Guardians too?
No, I'll see that shit on the Netflixes if I wanted
Was
to.
it as stupid as Guardians 1?
Yes. It was great.
I can't even remember what the last movie was I saw in cinemas.
There was a Star Lord, and he was very Star Lordy.
No, that well, maybe that, but actually I think it might have been Star Wars. I'm not sure. That's how you know.
I was talking
few-
about Star Lord, not Star Wars, but those movies are equally dumb. This is true. Oh, Star Wars is dumber.
Fair enough. But yeah, if there's one thing we can take from this Emoji Movie is that it's like the embodiment of today's cinematic thinking process, which like everything needs to be fucking formulaic and focus group approved and
Well, Artrix, is it that much different from the way video games are done these days?
But what focus group approved emojis as a movie?
The lowest common denominator.
yes,
Yeah, the Snapchat users.
But they don't
it's
use
very
emojis, they
clearly
use photographs of themselves doing stupid things
And
stalking
adding
each other.
emojis on them and stupid dog faces.
At least in video games, the lowest common denominator is like the Call of Duty players. Nobody cares about Farmville.
unless I don't know.
Well, all the survival
Facebook
games.
games, bro.
No,
They'll
no.
be the end of the world.
You know, in 10 years' time, everything will just be shitty Facebook games.
Ah!
You
Everything.
are going to go to a till to pay for your shopping, and you have to like match 3 of the same color.
I literally once went to a games development conference where Mrs. Romero was like, "Look at all these shitty Facebook games I make. You could make money doing this." I was like, "Romero's? Remember when you made Quake? Remember Quake? Remember?"
Obviously, nobody remembers.
I could make all this money, but where would be my dignity?
Remember Doom? Remember? And didn't I just looked into Romero's eyes and all I could see was Daikatana and I realized what happened.
Money happened.
Like Katana. Oh.
Money. Money.
We've got to have money.
Money.
Also, just little tangent here, you know, also oddly on topic, but did any guys even check out the Tom and Jerry and Charlie and Chocolate Factory movie?
No.
I recently watched a review of it.
Me
Like,
too.
basically a review that showed the whole movie. So
That sounds like the most bizarre thing. I didn't even know that was a thing, but what?
It's almost along the same lines as those movies akin to, I don't know, Scooby Doo and WWE wrestling thingy.
So you're saying a cheap
Only-
TV movie cash in?
not really, because the Flintstones and WrestleMania, well, whatever, they at least have original plot. This is literally just the plot of the first Willy Wonka movie, including the same changes they made from the book to the movie. So it's not even an adaptation of the book, just straight up copy pasted same script as the first movie, and then they spliced in random scenes of Tom and Jerry chasing each
That's
other.
the weird
So
part about it.
that's why Gene Wilder died. He just didn't want them to get him.
But that's
So
the
it
weird
was-
thing about the movie. You're watching it, or at least the review, and you're like, yeah, they just sprinkle in a few scenes with Tom and Jerry, and I think the most the most interaction they ever have with the Willy Wonka cast is like, yeah, we'll get you some chocolate. You'll make. Also, apparently, Tom and Jerry are friends. Just putting that
You
out there.
mate, you want some chocolate?
This sounds like a Power Rangers version of the movie. That's how Power
Well,
Rangers was made.
at least the animation is new.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't recycle
Like
animation, and it's
they
and
didn't just use footage from the old movie, but actually animated new footage, just based on the same script.
also apparently it's not how the animation doesn't look terrible. It's not
Okay, so
great.
it is actually original animation.
Yes.
It's not just Tom and Jerry cartoons spliced together with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
No,
Yeah.
It'd be even weirder if it's the Johnny Depp one. What if you just
They-
spliced all three of the movies together?
it could be interesting.
Nothing. What could go wrong, right?
Tom and Jerry
And Bootsy.
in your phone, inside your mind, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory
Also inside your
going
mind.
to also inside your mind going to the WWE wrestling match now on Netflix.
I
By
think
the
you
way,
went a
there is
layer too
something
deep.
Also featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
And Knuckles.
and Knuckles.
And after you watch this, you will try too.
And after you watch this, you get a coupon for free for 3 blue shells in Mario Kart Deluxe.
What could
there
possibly
is
go wrong?
There is something that needs to be said, by the way. Many
Okay.
people who are fans of the first Willy Wonka movie seem to hate the Johnny Depp version, but the
Understandably.
Johnny Depp version happens to be much closer to the book. And the creator of the book, Ronald Dahl, hated the first movie because it wasn't faithful to his book.
Yes, but Roald Dahl was also insane.
Yes, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of deserves it for writing such books.
I mean, he was a right old bastard. Roald Dahl was. He really didn't like children.
Well, that
gotta
was
say,
very evident from the story.
Yeah.
all his stories read like sadistic fantasies of what he actually wanted to do to children.
Yeah, most of his stories can be summed up as him saying how all children suck and deserve to suffer, and then he points a finger to a character he made, like this is how children are supposed to be. Said character being usually a little angel.
Well, he's not entirely wrong. But yeah, weird as movie. I don't know why it exists, but it does, and it's weird.
For cash, it exists for cash.
It really only exists for cash.
But really, Tom and Jerry's not even popular these days, is it?
Tom,
No.
that's what I'm thinking about these adaptations. Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, Tom and Jerry. They're, people know
They
about them, but go ahead.
Them because they are free. Like no one is using them, so we may as well.
Oh, they're public domain now, are they?
No, they're not.
Not really public domain, but Warner Bros. Who owns them are kind of like, what? You want to use them? Of course, we don't care anymore.
Mhm. Just pay a few £100, it'll be grand.
Yes.
The greatest thing about most of
It's
those
big
old
grand.
cartoons,
Nice fanatics.
most of the old Tom and Jerry cartoons, it was actually all the music tracks were public domain before the cartoons were even made. They
Uh-huh.
made so much bank off like Beethoven and Chomsky and whoever else they used the music from, because their cartoons were basically just built on the beats of those
Yes.
tracks, and it was great. Actually, they don't make them like they used to.
Well, you have to keep in mind that the original Tom and Jerry shorts were theoretical releases. What they used to do was you'd go to the cinema. In the 1930s, you would go to the cinema to watch a moving picture, and you sit down in the cinema, and then you watch a cartoon, and then you watch the main feature film.
And it
then-
moved!
And it moved. It is incredible. Come see us see the moving pictures in the cinema.
Yes, actually,
Yes.
I saw what was it? It was Pen Zero the other day. They made a
yes.
homage to Tom and Jerry in one episode. For some reason, Penn and Friend were turned into a cat and mouse for the duration of the episode. They even tried to sync it up with musical beats that sounded vaguely like the kind of classical tracks that were used back then. I don't know why they didn't just use the original classical music, because it's public domain. But I guess they wanted to put a modern twist on it.
I suppose.
But they used gangster rap techno.
Well, it was like synthesized versions of old music with some of the beats altered a little.
It was like the songs, but put together in MIDI.
Yeah, it was weird actually, and it didn't quite. The beats didn't quite actually. They didn't quite line up as well as the original cartoons did.
But they tried.
Yeah, they tried. It was all right.
A for effort, you tried.
Well, to be honest, I don't think the production teams on cartoons like Pen Zero have nearly as much time to spend synchronizing action to music as.
Yeah, because the old cartoons were aired like one cartoon.
Yeah,
one episode per several months, and this is like one episode per week.
Yeah, and then they took 6 months to draw out the cartoon, and then they had weeks upon weeks to actually edit together the photos and the music and get all the timing just right before it went to theater. Although Disney probably did rush out quite a few of them, and Warner Brothers and all the rest.
Especially during wartime, they really had to, churn out those propaganda movies.
And the animators too were probably more familiar with the notion of having your action synchronized with the music perfectly, because it was all they were doing. But yeah, cartoons.
When I think about synchronizing the movie with the music, the one thing that comes to mind are those Mystery Skulls music videos.
They were okay, but I think they only really synced the music to one beat, and that was kind of weird. Like the whole cartoon in those music videos is like everything kind of bounced to the regular beat, but it didn't quite have the same impact as to Tom hitting Jerry in the face with a frying pan as the cannon went off at the end of Beethoven's Sixth or Fifth, whatever symphony it was that ends with a cannon. There's not that many.
Yeah, it was really odd to watch those old cartoons, and every fucking thing is dancing along to the beat. It is. It did look really. It still looks pretty silly, though. You have to, it is interesting to look at, given that everything moves, and someone had to animate that shit. Like every single thing that you see is fucking dancing all the fucking time. For like.
In animations like Mystery Skulls, I think they were out to cheat by using Flash and transforms. Like they didn't have to do that by hand.
Are you talking about that that video game, or this is something else? Because there's they're working on a video game that has like 1930.
That is Cuphead, yes.
Yeah.
I was talking about Mystery Skulls. The thing we were talking about.
Are a band who have they have a few animated music videos.
Did you not? Anyway, yeah, it's that movie with the ghost. It's a spoof of Scooby Doo.
That's one of them, yes.
Well, that's the popular one. That's the one everyone knows.
Now spoof because on Hanna-Barbera did produce like 60,000 variants of Scooby-Doo. It's a good thing we don't live in the 70s anymore, because it was truly the animation ghetto age where...
I mean, many people are cursing this age, but it's still not as bad as the 70s.
We actually live in one of the best times to be alive to be an animation fan.
Many people object that Nickelodeon still airs nothing but SpongeBob and the Cartoon Network only airs Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, but think about it. We live in an age where you have this magical box. You're sitting behind it right now, where it can get almost an infinite amount of animated content through YouTube,
but
Netflix.
All of them are Simpsons.
No.
Yeah, but the thing is, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon aren't the only people producing. You've also got Warner Brothers and Star and Disney and Fox and
I'm pretty sure that more animated content is produced right now than ever before.
yeah. So
It's
complaining about Fairly Odd Parents and SpongeBob being the only thing on TV is kind of you're kind of cherry picking. I think.
speaking of Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah. Speaking of Fairly Odd Parents,
Speaking of various plans,
Go on then, speak of it.
They might actually put Old Yeller down to sleep.
well, maybe.
Well, maybe.
hopefully.
Or maybe they'll pull a Genji and they'll just revive it later.
With
Except-
cyborgs!
Yes,
I don't-
that's literally how I imagine it now. It's it's gonna be gone for a few years, and then they reboot the series, and Timmy Turner is literally like this mangled mess of some cyborg child that will never
Are you telling
die.
me that a cartoon I haven't seen since the mid-90s is still on TV?
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
like-
still
so
making it.
basically what happened is that today Nicktoons, because a few months ago Nickelodeon moved the show from their main Nickelodeon channel to the Nicktoons channel, which is usually a death sentence for a show.
Mm.
Well, they moved it a few months ago to Nicktoons, and today Nicktoons aired the last episode that was ordered, and the show was not officially renewed for a new season, and no new episodes were ordered. So technically, that would mean that it is cancelled, that it is over. However, no official news of a cancellation was yet released.
Which would make its cancellation even sweeter, because they didn't even give the show a proper funeral. They just silently stopped airing it.
Just
Which they
let it
already
die.
Which they already kind of are. Like, they moved it to Nicktoons. It's already, like you said, it's a death sentence to any given show.
Nicktoons, where Rugrats went to die.
And you know, Fairly
is
Odd
evident.
Parents is to follow.
Although plenty of people say that, well, mostly people on 4chan are already predicting the show being brought back once Nickelodeon cancels its current lineup.
What is its current lineup?
They do have the Loud House, they still air SpongeBob, and they recently started airing Welcome to the Wayne, which actually from the first 3 episodes I saw that already aired is a lot like Gravity Falls, almost to the degree that I would call it, that some people would call it a clone, but it's a very good one.
At
Like
least
it's genuinely watchable.
so fortunately,
in
it's
a
not
way,
like that Russian clone.
No, it's much better.
But just
fact,
a
I
Russian
would
clone
say
of Very
that-
Odd.
That in some ways it's better than Gravity Falls. Yeah, I know, heresy.
Well,
You're
Gravity
saying
Falls.
That show that I watched once and haven't really thought about since could be overshadowed by something new.
Yes.
God.
But yeah, you know, I liked Gravity Falls. It was a fun show. I wasn't too thrilled about the ending, but it was also, I'm also like, nah, it was alright. It was entertaining. It was cool for what it was, but
It had an ending.
It had an ending. At
I
least
mean,
they pulled the
a lot
plug.
of shows don't get proper endings.
So at
And
least
I mean,
got.
it was a better ending than Danny Phantom.
Didn't
but
Danny
that's not
Phantom
hard.
just? Didn't Danny Phantom end abruptly?
No, it had a proper ending, but
Oh.
the said ending sucked.
Well, I
It
guess.
got like a proper season finale, but I will say this way: you might have seen it, but the chance is that you have subconsciously blocked it out. It's that bad.
So what?
That sounds
Okay. Now I'm legitimately curious. So what did happen? Because I don't recall ever seeing anything that can be construed as.
Basically, the show ends with Vlad reason summoning a giant meteorite that goes to wreck the Earth, and then Danny gathers all of the ghosts to make the Earth transparent.
And then they shoot up a supermarket.
No, that's a different show.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it is Danny Phantom, but that was real life. That wasn't a cartoon.
It's a spin-off.
Oh my god, that sounds fucking retarded. I'm glad to have never seen that.
And also, none of the ongoing plots are resolved. Like, they are
Okay.
completely ignored.
Sounds good.
So let me get this straight. So Danny Phantom ended with an episode where they saved the planet
course-
by gathering all the ghosts and turning the Earth into a transparent orb.
Yeah.
It's
Also
an
none-
Earth ghost.
Also, none of the plot points are resolved.
Yes. And of course, his secret identity is revealed to the world.
So basically, they turned everybody in the world into a ghost, including the planet itself.
And
Yes.
of course, his secret identity gets revealed, and everyone loves him.
And everybody fucks him.
So you're that ghost boy that's been causing havoc in this town and whatnot. We don't care. We love you. And
Yeah,
then everyone
basically.
died.
But at the same time, all the other side characters, like at best, they show up in the background. Like, no closure for Valerie, no closure for Dennis Clone.
Oh god, Danny's clone. I remember that.
Yeah, no closure for that.
That was
No closure.
I think that was the point in the show where I started to lose faith in it. Because they were like, hey Danny, you got a clone now. What? So, yeah, and she's also female for some reason.
Well, they did explain it, like,
Yeah.
when they were cloning him, like the Y chromosome got
Perfect,
damaged.
Danny, but it has boobs.
She didn't even have boobs. At best, they were like.
There was a potential for boobs.
At best, he had like impossible boobs. It's basically just a triangle.
Yeah, that was because she was physically, like biologically, she was supposed to be younger. Like biologically, she was supposed to be like 10, while Sam was supposed to be biologically like 14, 15.
Yeah, all the characters were very typical teenage characters voiced by adults, but that's well, at least it kind of got the romantic shit right, sort of maybe.
Not really. Sam was awful.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The black chick was also a romantic interest, and she ended up being way more interesting.
She was one of the characters that not resolved, and then he ends up with Sam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she
Like-
do.
Like Valerie is not even mentioned.
So
She only like appears in one scene as a crowd shot.
well, GG. And yeah, I doubt it's ever going to get revisited anytime soon, and it shouldn't be. This is like one shot thing that Butch Hartman did. And it's like, okay, you tried to do an action series, you fucked up. Moving on now.
The worst part is that Hartman fucked it up by getting involved more.
Wait, he actually got invited. I was in the impression that he kind of let the show go, where it was like, oh, I'm too busy doing.
That's kind of the opposite of Fairly Oddparents. Fairly Oddparents got shittier when he got less involved, while Danny Phantom got shittier when he became more involved.
So you could say that Danny Phantom suffered from, I don't know.
Ghosting.
No, not ghosting, but even
Problem
worse.
The problem is that most of the writers
a pun.
that
Go ahead.
basically Hartman tried to write, when Hartman got more involved personally in the show, he tried to write it more as a comedy. The theme of the show was writing it mostly as an action series, but once he decided the show needed more of his personal involvement, he basically tried to turn it into a comedy.
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of weird about. Okay, now I'm echoing.
Yes, you are. I am too.
That's
I'm free.
Yeah, it's probably coming from your end, Sekele.
It's your fault.
Also, I was gonna say that Danny Phantom suffered from Lucasification or George Lucas syndrome, where the creators
don't-
like
This
guy-
needs more Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically what happened to Danny Phantom.
But
Yeah.
everything needs more Jar Jar Binks.
Even Genji.
Well, he is the mastermind behind the fall of the Galactic Republic. So yes.
Hmm? He was actually kind of a mean dick in that regard. And then they really downplayed him. And I
He
think
got away with it. Yeah, Jar Jar essentially got away with the whole thing.
Okay, there's like theories that Lucas actually intended that to happen, but just pussied out somewhere on the way.
yeah, didn't he got demoted at some point and then he just sort of had a low profile.
He was later digitally added to the final
Final.
Final Fantasy.
of
Yes.
Return of the Jedi. They explicitly digitally added
God.
scene that Jar Jar Binks is still alive.
So in other words,
Why would you do that?
yeah, in other words, he's canonically still out there.
So the order leader Snoke is Jar Jar Binks.
Probably.
What kind of name is Snoke anyway? That's like a name for a pink plushy elephant, not for a Sith Lord. It must be Jar Jar Binks.
Wait, isn't that from the Wuzzles or whatever it was? Disney's first foray into Saturday morning cartoons.
I don't know. I just know that the bold, menacing guy in the new Star Wars fan fiction movie is called Snoke.
Hmm.
That's a terrible name.
It is. It should be deleted. But it never will.
I'm not even watching those new Star Wars movies.
Well, they are great. You should. It has a mouth-breathing person who lived on a junk planet her whole life, and she knows more about Millennium Falcon than the guy who flew it the last 40 years.
Hmm?
And the little interest I had just disappeared.
But
Also, that there's a stormtrooper who defects from being stormtrooper, and then he picks up a lightsaber and he can use it without killing himself.
Well, that at least sounds interesting.
but that
It's not supposed to happen. Like when you pick up a lightsaber without being trained, you are going to disfigure yourself horribly at best.
No, I think that's just something Jedi's tell people so that they won't try. Kind of
Yeah.
like how a knight says, "Oh, you can't pick up my sword; you'll kill yourself." I was like, "No, it's just a big stick,
I
it's
mean,
a big sharp
that's-
metal stick."
Panboy, do you remember that the blade on a lightsaber has no weight and no inertia? It's just a deadly laser.
I'll say this thing. Look at General Grievous. He was not a Jedi, yet he could use it.
Yes, he was a cyborg with a lot of programming.
He used 8 of them at once. It was very silly. And then because they couldn't figure out how to make him good in the movies, they decided, you know what, let's just have him get crippled at the end of the cartoon, so we don't have to use him properly.
Why did he even exist? He was like a replacement for Darth Maul, except there was Darth Maul and he had spider legs.
Because they needed a villain for the cartoons that could be beaten up on.
yeah, that I
He
think
just used Dooku.
I think
Why,
that
why would you kill Dooku? Dooku was really cool.
I think that was actually where I kind of started to lose interest in the prequels, where he was introduced and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then later I learned, oh, he's from the cartoons.
He exists.
But he's still a shitty character.
Wait, when the cartoons after the movie?
No, they
they're
can't.
after.
I think they were before the movie.
Oh,
But
that's possible. I mean, I lost interest after episode 1 because then they stopped being in TV and started being in cinema. So I'm like, I'm not paying
oh
for
yeah,
that
and
noise.
you're not setting
And-
foot
and
in a
then I
cinema.
had to wait 6 years for it to be in the TV, and I was like, fuck this. I'm just
That-
going to watch the ones that are good.
Then you already lost hope in the entire franchise. The damage was
Wow.
already done.
Yes, Artrix. So I took a cassette and I put it into a VCR, and then I had A New Hope.
And
I
everything
had
was.
fortune or misfortune of having the entire original trilogy spoiled for me before I even got the chance to watch it. And so when I actually saw the original trilogy, it kind of felt like nothing special. But then when I actually saw the prequels, I didn't know what was going to happen. And as a result, I ended up enjoying them more than
that
the original trilogy.
kind of makes sense. I think the first time I saw the original trilogy was when I was 6, so there was not much time
Mhm.
for it to be spoiled.
But see, people, that's what spoilers do to people.
Well, you don't have to tell us. Panboy refuses to watch everything that was mentioned because that's a spoiler for him, and I don't like them either.
It's true. I don't watch trailers. I won't even listen to reviews. Not of something I intend to watch, which is why I'm going to go watch all the trailers and reviews of Emoji Movie right now.
Because you don't intend to watch it. GG.
And
Anyway,
you don't have to watch it, right? After you read a review.
Actually, I'm not even going to watch the trailers. I'm not that interested.
Panboy, there are emojis in the Emoji Movie.
Oh,
don't you use emojis in your text messages, Panboy?
no.
Don't you, go up to your favorite girl and you're like, hey, baby. Look
Colon
at
D.
this. Look at no. Colon D is so 1990s. Come on. We live in the current year.
Oh, sorry. XD.
No, you have to use the XD emoji, obviously, which doesn't look at all what you intended. So you type in XD and it turns it into, I don't know, a screwdriver and a paperclip.
Yeah, they work like that.
What happened to 1930s emoticons, which was a screw and a ball? You see, it means screwball.
I don't think anyone uses that one anymore.
Yeah,
Nope.
And people see those old Wile E. Coyote movies, and they see the lollipops pop up next to them, and they don't realize what that means.
Sucker.
Nope.
It means
It means
that he's a
sucker.
sucker.
Yes. But people don't call them suckers anymore, so they're seeing this and like, lollipop. What?
He pops lollies, obviously.
And to think that this was at one point considered to be edgy. Like not Hanna-Barbera, Warner Brothers was considered to be super edgy at the time. They were like, holy shit, they get away with all these really mature jokes. And now we're like, these are mature jokes. Though to be fair, they are, using guns quite liberally.
They are
Speaking
too
of mature
mature for
jokes.
the people to get these days.
Topic.
I saw an episode of Star versus Evil the other day, and
Which one?
I don't know. And Marco's like in there. He's breaking into King Ludo's castle, and then there's a mime, and they're like,
That's
"Oh yeah,
hilarious.
we break into this room all the time, and we have bubble baths and sleep in the bed, and then the mime is bouncing on the bed, suggesting what they do on the bed." And then the other guy's just like, "Yeah, and we do things there too."
It's a very bouncy bed, therefore they bounce on it. Not hard to get.
I don't think she was miming that.
Well, there are mimes.
Well,
Mime sex can't be good. It's only pretend.
It is very well known
Well,
that
it wasn't
Like
mime.
probably what mime sex is that you have a mime who's fucking the bed and another mime who's pretending that she's being fucked next to the first mime that they don't even touch.
But it was a pretty explicit sex joke in a children's cartoon.
yes,
Well,
but also one that's
are
subtle enough to go around kids' heads. I mean, if you don't know what sex is, it's just gonna be kind of, I don't know.
The internet is going to be very shocking.
Yes, but I thought it was very well known that Mumians are quite horny all the time. I don't know about you guys.
Prolific breeders,
Well,
yes.
they are basically related to insects.
Exactly.
At least their life cycle seems to imply that.
Puberty, the female just goes into almost uncontrollable rage, looking for a mate.
Well, if they were actually related to butterflies, they'd probably only live a few days, then fuck something and immediately die.
So in other words, all the characters we see on Uni are just like 2-day butterflies, and they just need to fuck and reproduce constantly to keep the same characters up
Oh,
all
my.
the time.
Did you know that there's a moth, the lunar moth, can't even eat?
As a matter of fact, I think the way butterflies actually reproduce is quite interesting in the sense that so butterfly has sex with other butterfly, and they create a bunch of eggs, and the eggs turn into caterpillars, and the caterpillar eats a crap ton of food, and then they become a cocoon, and they essentially what happens is that they completely liquefy. Like the entire body just dissolves.
No. Some of the organs are staying.
Yes,
Some.
I know,
Like
but
the heart.
but not
That's it.
much. Yes, so even the brain dissolves apparently, but yet it is able to reconstruct in
It's
such a way.
butterflies. They don't need brain. Have you ever saw a butterfly?
Yes, they're quite retarded, I know.
They're
But-
almost like pigeons.
Most insects are.
But though they apparently are able to retain memory, they did, experiments, because it happens. Someone looks at a butterfly and they're like, you know what? I'm going to spend several thousand insert currency here to study this phenomenon, and they get a grant.
Did they show them the Emoji Movie? Because even if your brain dissolves and you don't forget it, well, that's bad.
Yeah, we need to create advanced models of human psyche to make sure we get through this, which includes studying butterflies
And there are development fields dedicated to surviving the Emoji Movie.
Mhm. Anyway, let's see what we want to discuss and what we already discussed. So
Artrix, there's an important question this week.
okay, what is your important question?
Are traps gay?
Yes.
Well, given that traps are inanimate objects that are typically used to trap an unsuspecting victim, I would say they are neither.
I don't believe
They're
that's the kind of
inert.
trap he's referring to.
That was a joke to JPEG. But I would say, generally speaking, well, they are.
No,
Yes,
Artrix,
yeah. A trap is
that's the wrong response, Artrix.
What's
The right response is to throw the guy who asked out of the convention.
No, that's absurd.
Does someone ask that during convention?
Yes,
Yes.
there was a convention called
Oh.
CoxCon. Not Cox as in Cox, but Cox as in Jesse Cox.
Oh yeah.
Again, Cox, not Cox.
And
And apparently there was a panel on this CoxCon that contained Jesse Cox. And somebody asked him if traps are gay. And then everybody in the hall started laughing. But not Jesse. Jesse
See.
stared at the guy who dared to ask.
dramatic
was-
reading.
He was speechless for like 30 seconds. And then they kind of, with Total Biscuit, got into a shit hissy fit and took the guy out of the convention.
Wait, so it
And-
was Total Biscuit
Total
that did this?
Biscuit threw a shits. Total
Yeah,
Biscuit.
Total Biscuit was present at this CoxCon because Cox is his friend. Again, Cox as in Cox, not as in Cox. And then Total Biscuit took to Twitter and he spent at least 10 tweets saying how terrible that person was for asking that, at how was he bigoted and didn't deserve to be at the convention. And then he said that he donated the sum of the ticket of the offending person to some transgender advocacy group.
Wait,
some-
Total Biscuit did this sort of shit?
Yes.
Also something Gamergate and whatnot.
So some of the commenters were asking if this is what the cancer did to him.
Most likely.
It's a complete overreaction to something so. It was just a dumb joke, and they were like, "My God, that's transphobic." It's like, what's transphobic?
If you look at the video, Jesse literally couldn't speak for 30 seconds.
It was
He had
absurd.
no idea how to respond.
He should
Have
have
you
just
actually-
looked at
have
him and said,
you-
"Yes." Trapped
Or
again.
laugh it off. Everybody
move
else,
on.
everybody else in the hall laughed it off.
Nobody cares. It's a dumb question. It's funny. It's silly. It's jovial, and it's about a particular subculture of people who like to entrap people into thinking they're a different sex. I mean, it's not actually about transgender people. Is the thing.
Yes, that's actually one of the facts. Like Jesse was like, okay, let's move on, and then Total Biscuit got into a rage, and he raged. I mean, he rages a lot on Twitter. That's why he quit Twitter 3 times, and returned back.
Well,
Wait,
we
you-
obviously live in a post-joke society. Jokes don't exist anymore, okay?
It's really beginning to seem like that.
Well, somebody did point out
everything's
that
problematic, everything is racist, and you gotta point it all out.
somebody did point out that Total Biscuit is conflating traps and transgender people.
That too, which is pretty transphobic, if I must say. Because traps are not transgender people. They're not even transgender at all. They're just shitheads who like to be annoying and drop a dick on someone when they least expect it.
In the bed.
That's the point. It's like that's what they get their kicks from. It's like, oh, I'm gonna hit on you like I'm a girl with big boobies, and then they're like, I am erection now, and they're like, so you want to go to town on me? And they're like, yes, and then they take their pants off, and then they're like, that's a penis. I didn't sign up for penis, and then they're like, although, is it really gay?
Obviously, then you refuse the penis, and then they spend 2 weeks writing articles about how transphobic you are.
It's so dumb.
That's how it works. Well, I mean, some people use logic and determine that traps are not in fact gay.
Those people are dumb. It's pretty gay.
You see, gay people are allowed to serve in the US military, but trans people are not.
That's not actually true.
Therefore, trans people are not gay.
Donald Trump made a tweet that was wrong. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, there was something about the US government considering no longer paying the medical bills or something like that.
No longer accepting trans people into service because it just costs money and they are dependent on all these chemicals. I mean, they are not even they are not taking in people with diabetes because they are dependent on insulin.
Well, no, here's what happened. They said the US government were like, okay, we're not going to pay all these medical expenses for trans people. They did not say we are not going to allow trans people to enlist. They just said they're not going to waste money on cosmetic surgery for people who want their penises chopped off, which is fine. That's not the government's responsibility to cut your penis off.
It's still kind of silly though, because from what I gather, the actual costs related to transgender people in the military is like minuscule compared to the overall costs of even the healthcare provided.
It kind of puts you out of service for half a year.
Yeah, but here's the thing: that would be incredibly unfair to the average person if you can just sign up for the military and get thousands of euro worth of healthcare done because transitioning, especially in the States, where everything is stupidly expensive, is very expensive. You need to take there's long-term hormone replacement therapy, which you will be on for basically the rest of your life, and that's expensive. Then there's any cosmetic surgery you actually want to have done, like actually getting implants or having parts of you cut or altered, which cosmetic surgery is expensive. It's absurdly expensive. It's also incredibly dumb, in my opinion. But spending that money on because this person is telling you it's a medical expense they need to have done because they're transgender is, well, I don't agree with that. I think expecting your government or your health insurance even to pay for that is silly.
And also there's like the thing with the military that they don't really like to have mentally unstable people, like officially, like basically that's a reason to get rejected because you kind of need to have some kind of mental stability too. So
You've obviously never read
because
Catch
of the
22.
because of the hormonal therapies, trans people who are in the process of transitioning tend to be kind of mentally unstable
But
due to the hormonal treatment.
regardless of their mental state, whether that's a fact or not, they would probably debate you on that, and I don't want to get into that. But regardless of all that, the military are not banning transgender people. They're actually not. It's not something that's happening. Donald Trump made a bad tweet, and it was dumb.
But imagine like you're in the trenches, you're sieging the ISIS, that all the block that's left of them, and then suddenly you're out of hormones. What now?
Well, obviously, you need to have like one of your medics that will shoot hormones directly into your bloodstream with their
Obviously, you
gun.
need to stop the battle. You need to tell the ISIS to be tolerant for a bit because you need to get back to the base.
Hold it, you guys! Hold it! Hold it! You too, Carl! Stop shooting! Let me have this, okay? You too, Ahmed, stop shooting. Stop it! Stop it!
Yeah, this is why they don't
no.
accept people with diabetes. They need insulin.
This is kind of one of the reasons why our military would not accept me. And I only have an allergy. Well, several allergies.
What if you have allergy to killing Muslims?
I think they call that passivism, and that's
It's
court
terrible.
martialable.
Oh, since we mentioned Slovakia, that there were fun news in Slovakia. Apparently one of, I think Sekele might add things. One of the members of parliament who's in some rightist party, he donated he donated some money or gave out some money to the they're called Socially Weak, which means basically gypsies and Uber Eats. And the grant that he gave them was 1,488 euros.
For what?
What?
What was it for? What was the grant he gave out for?
For the Socially Weak, which means free money. But it's about the sum. It was 1488 that he gave them.
Oh.
Which one was it? Was it Kotleba or Danko?
Kotleba.
Okay.
Can you please explain
I understand.
the sum to people who are not aware?
No, you're
Okay.
German. You should know.
Oh, 1488.
Both of those people.
I'm gonna let you finish, but first we need to explain the 4088 meme. It's what the Nazis use.
Oh yeah.
14 is the 14 words. The whole thing. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for our children. And 88 is a number acronym for Heil
88.
Hitler.
I'm aware of the 88 part. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 1488 was kinda. But
So,
yeah, it's
so he donated 1488 euros, and now he's kind of being persecuted, I think, because they found out that he's a very evil person in a very evil party.
It's not like they found out. He's being very explicit about it. Like the question I asked about whether it was Danko or Kotleba is because both of those people are head of Nazi parties.
Oh,
and
good.
Danko, who's head of a different Nazi party, actually thinks that Kotleba is a psychopath.
So you guys have a lot of genuine modern Nazi parties.
Why would he think that?
Two of them, both are in the parliament, and the one headed by Danko, the less insane one, is even part of our government. In fact, he handles the Ministry of Internal Affairs, which means he basically controls our police at the moment.
Didn't they sue one of them, or was it somebody else for talking in a radio talk show or something in the interview where he said that Islam is not a religion but a terrible and horrific political system?
In all fairness, I think all of our politicians said that at some point.
That's true. I don't understand this fascination recently with declaring people saying things that are true as being bad. It's weird. It's like,
I mean, Panboy, if neo-Nazis say that.
Yep. But normal people say it too. You don't have to be a neo-Nazi to look at Islams and say that's a bad
I
idea.
mean, the head of our liberal party said something similar many times.
Good. Because it's true.
But that sounds like an actual liberal party then, and not
Yeah,
these.
I mean, he outright said that if you support Islam, you support the rape of women and the murdering of homosexuals.
Yeah,
Oh,
you do. That's true.
But
it's not like he's wrong.
well, you're not wrong. Speaking of things going on the planet, we've got a Korea on this planet, and one of them is
no one
off,
cares.
and one of is obviously the best. There can only be one best Korea, and obviously it's the North. And it
There
did something.
can only be one.
Apparently, that there's been a guy who killed some people with a machete in Hamburg, and
Oh,
his
that's-
name Ahmed.
Oh,
Obvious.
that's strange. I
How
wouldn't.
strange, indeed.
I wouldn't expect someone called Ahmed to be a machete killer in Hungary. I would expect them to be a machete killer in kebab.
United Arabian Kebabs. Yes.
But
What
yes,
about the
missiles.
best Korea?
Maybe if we persuaded Best Korea to use all those missiles on kebab, we could solve two problems.
Oh, wasn't there a rocket that was shot down over the Arab place?
I don't know.
I think I read something about it.
But apparently, North Korea have decided, do you know what? We don't like being on this precipice of war with America and
And basically everyone. I mean, at this point,
even us all out, and appease everyone else is to launch missiles straight up in the air. And well, America are like.
Exactly, Panboy, straight up in the air.
America are looking at him and saying, do you know what? We don't really think launching missiles, really big ones, straight up in the air, is really a symbol of peace.
Well, if they are launching them straight up in the air, it's going to fall at the place it shot from.
Are you sure it's not just symbolic, though?
I think it's symbolic of them showing everyone that they have giant explosive penises.
So don't you think it might be a cultural thing? Did you ever think
Oh,
about
so
that?
it's not about peace, it's about love.
Yes, they want to show the world their love with their giant phallic extensions.
Obviously.
That they can use to send their delicious, lovely payload halfway across the planet.
Oh my.
Though it didn't even get any further than the Japanese economic exclusive zone thingy. So.
Of course not. And America are watching them with such eagle vision right now. If they were to actually try to launch a missile into orbit that could actually strike anywhere on the planet, it would probably be shot down with a laser or a railgun or a missile or a machine gun or a guy in a jetpack.
Mhm.
I don't know what America has on their aircraft carriers these days. I think they have all of those things.
Basically.
I'm pretty sure if they actually tried to launch a missile at anybody, there would be a fighter jet off a carrier chasing it down, going suborbital before. I can't say orbital right now.
Suborbital.
Yes.
GG.
But yeah, no, I don't think North Korea has any chance of actually getting a missile past their borders.
Are you implying there's not like 7 B-52 bombers over West Korea tracking those missiles?
Yes, there is. There's also an entire fleet of American aircraft carriers just staring at them. Like, I mean, what are they going to do? What is Korea going to do? They just keep posturing like this. It's like, oh, we're not afraid of America. We have missiles. America's like, could you please stop launching those missiles? And Korea's like, no, we're going to launch more missiles. And America's like, We have a giant carrier group that could literally level your entire country without using nuclear weapons. We also have nuclear weapons.
Mhm.
And Korea's like, yeah, but no, now we're going to launch more missiles. So what are you going to do about it? We could raise your island. We could glass it. We could literally depopulize the entire surface of Korea.
Yeah, they keep doing it because their regime does everything it can to preserve itself, it
Korea is
seems.
like, we have missiles, we're strong. And
That,
America
this,
is like, well, I guess 2 counts as a plural.
I don't understand what Korea expects to achieve antagonizing America.
well, I
They
think
already achieved getting China tired so much they refused trading their coal.
yeah, that is a major part. Like in ye olden times, they used to have China on their back, but now even China's like, I don't know, man. I've never seen you before.
Well, that's because Trump actually did something fairly clever here. I know, crazy, but Trump was like, "Hey, China, if you keep, being buddy buddy with Korea, we're just going to stop buying from you." And then China was like, "Wait, don't we like export 90% of our product to America?" And then America was like, "Yes, you do." So China was like, that would probably devastate our economy slightly more than it's already been devastated by our property boom that we're still experiencing. And that would make our entire population homeless. And America's like, yeah, probably. Like, oh, then you'd have to go to war.
And he did.
China's like, you know what? Maybe we won't be so buddy buddy with Korea anymore.
Maybe.
And that's where we are now.
Maybe.
World politics in 15 seconds.
You should become political commentator.
From me, the moron.
In other words, Trump has made America great again.
Yeah, he just made Korea look like babbling babies.
Mm.
I'm not that much on board with Trump these days, not with the way he keeps saying such incredibly stupid things without anyone giving him any information. Like that whole no Chinese in the army thing, it's just fucking dumb. And it wasn't based on anything in reality. And he keeps doing it. I can't in good faith continue to say good things about Trump. He keeps saying such enormously dumb things.
Oh, at least he's saying it on his personal Twitter. Let's give him that.
Because that matters.
It's not like a press release. Well, I mean, for the various news outlets, it basically is press release because for the past 5 years they haven't been using any other source but Twitter.
Yeah, no, look, there's things Trump has done that, I'm okay with, like, the whole strong arming China about the Korea thing, and his refusal to take any more Syrian refugees.
Oh, by the way, he made George Takei very unhappy with those tweets.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he did.
And Takei was like, "You just pissed off the wrong crowd."
Yeah.
Which is?
Apparently.
It's nice name for them, isn't it? For the wrong crowd.
Yeah, but who is it?
I don't know. I guess gay people.
Gay people, I
4%
guess.
of the population.
It's not like Trump hasn't pissed off half the planet already.
I mean, it's Takei, right? So it's either gay people or Star Trek actors.
I mean, on the one hand, there seems to be this relentless campaign against Trump that just doesn't cease to exist. On the other hand, he does seem to make it really easy for himself.
And he doesn't even care.
Doesn't seem to care, honestly.
It is pretty bizarre, but it's doing them.
Well, then sometimes his family members get traumatized by, seeing everybody having Trump's bloody head in their hands.
The real problem.
Oh yeah, that was also a thing.
And then the media laugh at them for being traumatized.
The weird thing is, or the problem is, that the media keep attacking Trump for things he didn't do or things that are just dumb. rather than actually attacking him on politics, which is
Oh.
what they should be doing because he's a president.
Obviously, Panboy back then when they attacked him for having 2 scoops of ice cream, that was very important.
Yeah,
Because you see 2 scoops, 2 genders.
it's stupid. So
Yeah,
stupid.
that's what I've been saying. This basically the reversal of what we had in the early 2000s with Bush and company, where you had, where you had all the dumb idiots, you know.
Realize the fact that Trump made the "if I had a scoop of ice cream for every gender there is." He would get 2 scoops.
It's true.
He actually he live role played the meme. He didn't even realize it.
Oh god. No, yeah. Yeah, no, the media needs to stop attacking Trump on petty things and actually go after his politics if they want to get any rational support.
To
But
be
remember,
perfectly honest,
those are complicated.
they are, but you know,
It gets lost.
whether it's, yeah, for one thing, the constant gossiping may actually hurt their image a little bit. There was also CNN just flat out admitting, oh no, we're just, you know, making up shit to get the ratings.
Mm-hmm. And
They
apparently-
even admitted it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
there's video showing that, you know, employees just flat out say, look, we were just ordered to go around making up shit, and as long as it, you know, get the most eyeballs on the screen, it's good.
Yeah. Also, there's the recording of the guy saying that the Russia conspiracy with Trump is a big nothing burger.
Mhm.
Wait,
He also admitted that the American government does the same thing in other countries, so it's not
That too.
actually a big deal. It's like,
That
yeah,
too.
what do you think the CIA do
They
every year?
they still get ratings.
And I think the best part
Yes.
was when they were interrogating that CIA guy, and he was like, "Well, nothing actually happened, but Trump was mean."
See, that's where the media is failing. They're trying to rile people up and threaten impeachments over all these things that didn't happen. It's like,
And things that are easily proven that they didn't happen.
go after what he did, not what you said he did, and then you'll actually see more success. He does plenty of dumb things.
Also make the Democratic Party a more compelling alternative to whatever he's doing. If you don't like what he's doing, make sure that there's an alternative we can vote on. You know, and as you know, his policies become more and more unpopular, and your policies become more and more popular, then you might actually have a chance of getting someone elected that will
Yeah,
will
but their
replace him.
policies at the moment are just kill all the white children.
That is the problem. Currently the quote unquote progressive left, which has become quite regressive actually, is just not cool anymore.
And
it's
it's
become-
incredibly racist.
And it's incredibly racist. It's turning everything into a race issue. Everything needs to be
Incredibly racist towards the majority population.
So yeah, no wonder.
That's the
So no wonder no one's going to. And shaming people into supporting your policies doesn't work either. If you constantly tell people you are shit, your existence is shit, we rather not have you, have less babies, commit suicide.
Well, then
No.
they stop going to universities, and then the universities rate dropped by 30%, and then the
Yes.
university is like, "We have to cancel half our subjects."
Someone goes up to you and says, "You're a disgusting, racist, sexist, homophobic white male, and you're terrible
Because you're a
of
white
these
male."
things." And look at and then say, "Please vote for me." Are you going to vote for that person?
Not
Are you?
really.
I don't usually vote for people, but I'm going to not vote for this person extra.
Yeah, you're going to the voting booth and you vote -1 for the part.
I'm going to circle everybody else but that person.
Actually, that might actually be a nice idea to be able to vote for a party and also to cast the negative vote for a party.
Well,
So
actually,
it's-
that's
But then everybody
kind
will be
of-
just giving out negative vote Artrix.
So it's like I really like this party, and I really hate this party.
That's sort of how preferential voting works in Ireland and Australia.
You know what I really liked about the whole university impact on that one university?
Mm-hmm.
That not only white people stopped going there because, you know, when the residents see a white person, they automatically call him a racist. Also, the black people stopped going there because they don't like to be treated like special, fragile creatures.
Their of their average enrollment rate, which is usually about 10 or 11% black, and the rest is white and other mixed races. It went from that to then 30% of their overall dropped, but their black enrollment rate dropped to 60% or 6% from 12. So it dropped even more than their white rate.
It halved.
Yeah, it was like, nope, black people don't like this.
Who could have predicted this?
Anyone.
I think the bottom line is that identity politics is cancer and needs to.
Panboy, those people don't go to university. What do they know?
Someone recently banned Richard Dawkins from talking.
That too.
Because apparently he has problematic opinions on Islam.
Well, to put in their words, he has expressed hurtful opinions.
Almost like if this man who has a career of not being nice to religion is not nice to religion.
I know, right?
Well, he did, in fairness, he did explicitly state that Islam was in fact the most evil force on the planet right now.
Oh, it is.
I can see how someone might find that to be negative about Islam. I have to agree with the sentiment, but I can see how people could see it as being mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because Islam is shit and should be banned.
But so is any other. To be fair, any other Abrahamic religion, given it's got enough power.
Oh yeah, no, I despise all religion, but Islam happens to be the only one on the earth today that is telling you that if you quit this religion, you will be murdered.
Isn't that the case in all religions, though? It's just not practiced.
Commonly in the Catholic Church, you get excommunicated, which basically means people will shame you for the rest of your life.
It means slow and painful death.
But the thing is, you also have to do something incredibly foul to get excommunicated from the Catholic Church.
Like disagree with the Pope.
I don't think I've ever heard of the Catholic Church. I don't think I've heard of people quitting the Catholic Church being hunted down and murdered.
Maybe in the Dark Ages.
But not these days. But
not these days. This is
it probably happens in some really, really old school backwards place where people still practice the good Christian.
Now, also you have to keep in mind being excommunicated during the times where the Catholic Church had like a lot of societal power. That would have been a big problem. Basically being, barred from all social activities, basically. You live in this country that is completely Catholic, and
if someone in Ireland was excommunicated, they'd be fucked even today.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, if you were to get excommunicated today, you'd have to do something harsh.
Mm-hmm.
There was that one time where Henry VIII excommunicated the Pope and the rest of the church.
and they might not have been as lenient in the past.
No, you'd have to do something horrific today, though. I mean, you really would. You'd have to murder an orphanage full of babies in the name of Satan or something.
And I think it kind of goes the same way in Islam's, as in, the Quran does very specifically state, okay, you rage quitted from Islam's, yes, okay, you gotta die, GG. And according to the book, everyone should gather and basically just kill you because you rage quitted. But in reality,
people are being stoned in the street. So yeah,
well, not in all communities, but especially in the West, you're not really going to get away with that, except with the terrorisms and whatnot.
Well, it seems to happen enough that it's worrisome to me.
I'm definitely not saying it's not
Yeah,
worrisome.
There's, as far as I know, no other religion on Earth right now, no other mainstream religion. There might be some backwards African tribe in the middle of the Amazon.
Oh, and
In all
plenty of
fairness, the Hindu occasionally do something incredibly stupid.
But it seems to be happening pretty regular in the Middle East. That
oh yeah, definitely. Most actually, now I'm just gonna put on my glasses and become one of these hipster thugs. Actually, most victims of Muslims are other Muslims.
yes.
That only means that Muslims can't peacefully coexist even with other Muslims.
Which is why it's concerning. If it even affects
that's why
other
they
Muslims.
live in a desert. They are trying to be as isolated as possible.
So in a sense, it's not even white versus black or Middle Eastern versus everyone else. It affects them too.
I heard a great description of the religion of peace and how it's actually a legitimate explanation for Islam recently. Islam is a religion of peace if you take into account that once Islam actually manages to conquer the whole world and put everyone under its banner of Islam and force everyone into the religion, then the world will be at peace.
Only that not, because as we see, even Muslims kill Muslims. So
well, you see, they're not real Muslims.
It's obviously
just coincidence.
Well,
just as
communists
they are
reading the book wrong. Duh.
Because obviously the communists in the USSR weren't real communists because they couldn't run a communist
real
country.
Muslims, Artrix.
So maybe that's why communists and Muslims seem to have a hate boner for one another.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I hate religion.
I mean,
get rid of it.
Hitler kind of liked Muslims.
Yeah.
They hated Jews, so he was like, oh, they're cool.
They're cool.
And Muslims loved Hitler in return. Like seriously, there are pictures of Muslim spiritual leaders blessing the Nazi troops.
Also, apparently, if your skin's kind of brownish, more like caramel, and you go to the Germanys and you go on the streets and then you basically do the Hitler salute and whatnot, apparently that's okay, because you're oppressed.
It's a salute of peace, I think.
And that's when, like, what happened to egalitarianism and the rule of law and whatnot? These people are clearly breaking the law.
They are above the law.
It's right here in your laws. It says, okay, Nazi salute and whatnot is a big no-no.
Has that been happening recently? Have black people just been going into Berlin and Hitler saluting?
No, I don't know how long ago it was. It was some time ago.
Don't worry, Macron will save us.
I do know that there is a strong group of black people, mostly in the USA, who genuinely believe that Adolf Hitler was black.
We was kings.
And the reason why white people hate him so much is because he was fighting for the rights of black people.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. George Washington was black, Abe Lincoln was black, so why not Hitler?
Well,
apparently they did DNA tests on King Tut recently and found out he wasn't actually black at all.
Well, obviously.
Which is great.
Oh no!
We wasn't kings at all.
Well, there was a single dynasty of black pharaohs, which weren't, however, Egyptians, but they were Kush, who at the time was occupying Egypt.
Not even Nubia.
Well, Kush is Nubia. Like, Nubia is the name of the region, and in said region there existed the kingdom of Kush and the kingdom of Aksum, who later became Sudan and Ethiopia.
I was afraid it was not even Nubians.
Such lovely, lovely countries these days. I'd take a holiday to Ethiopia someday. just so I can eat a sandwich while I watch
Oh,
people starve.
did I mention the thing that Macron said about Africans?
No, but
Oh, it pissed off some journalists. He said that the economic problems that Africa is facing is because they have too many children.
Well, that is actually one of the few intelligent things he might have said.
Well, he also said that he wants to rule as the Jupiter rules the Roman pantheon.
there is a bit of truth to that. But
And my
also...
favorite thing that he did was that he stopped speaking to journalists because he said that his ideas are too complex and intelligent for the journalists to get.
There is this strange evolutionary behavior in all people, well, in humans anyway, that if you live in a place of basically poverty and malnutrition and sickness, you will breed more. You will have more and more babies.
Kind of like rats or cockroaches.
Oh yes, that's what happened in the medieval.
It
period,
actually
like,
makes a
my
lot of...
babies are dying. I need to make more babies. And then they're like, oh shit, I have 6 babies. What to do now? Let's send them to war.
Especially in a situation of sicknesses, like where you notice that a lot of people are just dying from random sickness. It makes sense to try and get as many offspring as you can.
Mhm.
But if it's only socio-economical, so like you're in a really impoverished village, you basically have barely enough water to survive. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to have a lot of children. Just have a few quality,
No, it just happens to be a biological response that's programmed into us.
All you need is a water seal.
So really,
obviously.
yes, really to solve the problem of overpopulation in a lot of these places, they just need more stable. Well, not just it's a complex issue, but a big part of it would be stable infrastructure, proper health care, decent education. Basically, all the things that the first world country expects to have.
Mhm.
So yeah.
But yes, a stable population, so you can scale things accordingly and not rampant reproduction as we see now. It's
But let's not come in here as the white savior, eh? Because that never works.
Anyway.
White man's murder and all that.
Africa needs to sort itself out.
With that said, there was just another episode of Rothingham, the world's least professional podcast on the entire internet.
Back had a subject about gaming he wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring it
Yes,
up real
very
quick.
important. I know you sure remember Street Fighter V and how successful it was, right?
Uh-huh.
Like it sold 1.7 million lifetime. Meanwhile, ARMS, the game ARMS from Nintendo, which is out for like a month, already sold 1.1 million
Mm-hmm.
on a system that it's Nintendo,
I don't.
just Nintendo Switch.
But it's one of the best-selling consoles.
Nintendo's bitch.
Wait a minute, isn't the Switch the best-selling console that Nintendo ever had?
Well, not the best-selling, but apparently it does at least okay.
It currently has the highest sales of any console in the period it's out. So, for all we know, sales will just completely grind to a halt, and no one will want to get a Switch except for early adapters. But
Also, apparently rumors say that the eShop version of this Ultra Street Fighter 2 sold better than that Rising 4, and that Capcom is also considering. No, Capcom already said they are considering to bring more games to the Switch now.
I'll just wait until Skyrim is on register.
There you go. It's kind of the chicken and egg story. So now that people actually own Switches, and now it's apparent that software
if they can actually find one in the store.
Eggs are good.
So now developers will be like, wait a minute, this Switch thing is actually a viable platform. We can actually make money here.
That is important.
And that is the most important thing of any console.
Yeah.
That said, though, the Wii had enormous sales, but developers didn't go to it.
That's the thing.
Because
That's the
the
difference.
developers were lazy.
Not just that, but yeah, the hardware was underpowered to such a degree that it was virtually impossible to successfully port games over to the Wii.
I remember Penny Arcade's comic about what was it called? Dead Rising. It was like fight against zombie in a giant mall because the Switch or the Wii could only render like 20 zombies on screen at a time, whereas like the 360 and the PS3 could render hundreds.
It was even so. It was the Wii. The original Wii was even so ridiculously underpowered. I remember playing Rayman Origins, and it didn't render certain aspects you would see in the Xbox version. It was that bad. That was a 2D side scroller, and I think in one of the levels you have like festive lights on the foreground, and they removed in the Wii version because the Wii didn't have the rendering power or something like that.
Pathetic, even the
Or not enough RAM.
Or that, but that's the thing. It was so pathetically underpowered that even for a game like that, they had to cut corners. But I don't think that.
I think
still out all their competitions.
And I don't think we really have this kind of problem with the Switch.
The Wii didn't really outsell. The console did, but the games didn't.
It had a terrible attachment rate.
I don't consider the Wii to be a successful console, even though it was the best-selling console in the world.
Maybe you don't consider it, but most other people and everything consider it to be successful.
What he was getting at is that the attachment rate was fucking terrible.
Yeah, because people just got it for Wii Sports, basically.
It was basically just a Wii Sports machine. So there were actually only a few people that actually bought the console, put it in a prominent spot in their living room, and actually went to the store and buy games as they come out.
Most people don't really consider the Wii to be a successful console. They consider it to be a well-selling console, but not a successful console.
As a console.
We call those people idiots.
Because you have to remember as well, most consoles, although I don't think that actually applies to the Wii, sell below cost. This is because they expect to make it back on the game sales. So if you don't sell a lot of games to go with your underpriced console, you don't actually make any money on the console.
It actually depends, because in recent time, from what I know, it had actually changed a bit.
From what I gather, the Wii was actually sold for more than its production. Like they actually made a profit on the original Wii.
Yeah. Nintendo usually makes a profit on the console.
Yeah,
I think the only time when they actually made losses was when they price dropped the 3DS.
And that worked really well for them.
That's kind of telling, isn't it? I mean, everyone else is selling their consoles at like cut-rate prices, and they're still too expensive. But the Wii was so underpowered, they were able to actually sell for a profit.
No, but the Wii was selling like crazy, so that wasn't a problem. I was talking about the 3DS right now, because that was selling badly, because that was like the beginning of the weird naming scheme where 3DS, wait, is it just a new DS version or what?
Nintendo don't seem to know how to name things.
Yeah.
I mean, now we have the new 2DS XL, which released like this weekend.
I mean, even the Switch is kind of a dubious name, but at least they had a really good marketing campaign, and everyone fucking...
The Switch is a unique name. You cannot get the name the Switch mixed up with the name the Wii.
Yeah,
it's a completely new branding strategy.
However, just wait for the Switch U.
However, Microsoft seems to have taken a bite of Nintendo pie, and they named their next console the Xbox X.
No, that's not the next console. That's just like a
isn't that
higher spec version of the Xbox.
Just
like PCs have.
Wasn't they calling it a Scorpio? Or something?
Yeah, isn't that Project Scorpio? And that they're going to call it the Xbox X now.
Yeah,
Xbox One X.
So they're going to call it the Xbox.
Yes, it's so dumb.
No, if Xbox One X has only one X, then it's just a box.
Wait a minute. Why don't they completely embrace
Box One?
Why don't they completely embrace internet culture and just call it the Xbox? Xbox
better
One
still,
X.
there's even more confusion as well because they've been calling it the Xbox Scorpio up till now, right?
Hmm?
Okay, and now there exists also an Xbox One S, which is basically the simplified version of the Xbox, the cheaper box.
Yeah, but
Because
that
so now
I think it's actually not cheaper. It's actually just a revision because it has like some features that the original Xbox One doesn't have.
but it's
at
still
any rate, it's
Yeah.
still another console that's named S. So you're gonna have people going into the stores this Christmas or next Christmas and be like, "I need little Jimmy was looking for the Xbox," and the salesperson's gonna be, "So did he want the Xbox X or the Xbox S?" And they're gonna be like, which was cheaper?"
I want the Xbox X so I can grow my own Xboxes.
It's really bad naming. It's Nintendo level naming.
yeah. So the Xbox One, Xbox One S, and the X bonks basically.
Especially if someone says to you, "I want the Scorpio," and then they're going to go into the store and see the Xbox S, and they're going to assume that's the Scorpio. You see the problem here?
Yeah, I
You
see.
what S is the word that Scorpio starts with, letter even, and Scorpio doesn't start with X.
Yeah, that's actually true. At least with the PlayStation 4, you actually know you have the PlayStation 4 and you have the PlayStation 4 Pro, which kind of implies that's the better version of the PlayStation 4.
Like, what's the S mean? Is it special? What's the X mean? Extremely bad?
Exactly. I think the S stands for slim or something, but yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, you know how console makers do it now. They make the big fat version that gets released, and then a few years later they make a trimmed version. So it's usually smaller.
Yeah, it's usually trimmed because the processors have shrunk down.
And they get rid of the heatsink for some reason, and then it starts overheating. And
Oh goodness. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the podcast on that note. So thank you for watching. I hope you got some entertainment out of it. Like, subscribe, give me money. I don't know. See you guys. Extreme. And see you guys next week. Extreme action. So yeah, see you guys next week for another retarded episode of Rated Rothingham. And you need something clever. No, I don't have anything clever. You won't get any. So there.